documenting his travels in daily 1-minute videos.
And this is why Singapore is doing it right. They don't try to fight, invade, or take over other countries.
Nas Daily has become one of the most successful content creators on Facebook, with a following of more than 12 million people.
That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow. Oh my God!
In April, he decided to make this country his base and start a company.
Thank you so much for coming. That's sick.
His first order of business upon arriving was to meet and greet his fans at the Singapore Botanic Gardens. But the gathering was blighted by this. The Israeli-Palestinian vlogger, whose real name is Nusaya Yassin, has been at the center of much controversy in Singapore.
Is the incredible story of the almost perfect country of Singapore! In Singapore, many races live. The Indians, the Malay, Chinese, and Eurasians. And because people of different races might disagree and hate each other, Singapore forced all of them to live together in buildings on top of each other, next to each other.
And it all started with this video.
When I saw the way they build and do things, from water systems to airports to buildings to gardens, I was amazed. Because all of the problems above, they solved in 53 years since they gained independence.
It gained Nas Daily many new fans, but there was also a fair number of haters. When I heard Nas was moving to Singapore, I wrote to him. I wanted to speak to him to find out how he's dealing with the naysayers, and to give him an introduction to Singapore from a true local's point of view. Nas agreed, but wanted me to meet him at our largest refuse incineration plant.
It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet
Welcome
you, man.
to Singapore. Why are we here in this incineration plant?
Dude, it's interesting. How do you burn trash without polluting?
I soon find out that NASA's fascination with waste management stems from him living next to a smelly landfill for 18 years.
Already have it there.
We're met by the general manager of Tuas South Incineration Plant, Chong Kwek On. He's been working in the industry for 38 years.
These are actually the flue gas cleansing equipment. So filter off all the dust, neutralize acidic gases into harmless gases.
So this is exactly what I'm interested in.
Yeah. After going through, this is cleaner than outside air.
Nuts.
All the air can go through this. Singapore will be very clean, dust-free.
Really?
Yes, I can assure you. Yeah.
What I'm about to show you will blow your mind just like it blew mine. See, I'm here with my girlfriend, vacationing on a nice island off the coast of Singapore. It's pretty, it's clean, it's nice. But what if I told you that this nice island is made of trash?
In 2018, Nas produced a video on Semakau Island, the city-state's offshore landfill.
Feel like a resort! That's 1 minute!
When I made the video about the landfill, I made a mistake. Because it was a 1 minute, 10-second video, I said, I focused only on the landfill. So I said they take the trash, they burn it, they collect the ashes, they turn into that thing, right? But then a lot of comments were like, wait, they burn it, what happens to the smoke? That is not environmentally friendly. So now I want to come back and make another video. This one is going to be 3 minutes.
Now we are at the refuse reception hall. You just imagine, every day we got about 600 to 800 trucks coming here.
Singapore generated 7.7 million tons of waste in 2018, which is equivalent to the weight of close to 530,000 double-decker buses. At this rate, the Semakau landfill will run out of space in about 16 years.
The way some countries deal with trash is they just throw it on top of a mountain and we're done.
Right.
But you are building this entire incineration plant.
So you like it because of how we deal with it, how we deal with our trash.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Oh, you can feel the heat already.
This is our furnace. Yeah. The temperature inside is about 1,000 degrees Celsius.
1,000 degrees.
Yes. We always maintain the temperature in between
1,000.
350 to 1,000 degrees.
Oh, that will burn like way more than your Peking duck, man.
Yeah.
Is this hot?
We put some insulation, so this.
Yeah, but ooh, it's still hot.
This is our central control.
Okay.
So our plant operating 24 hours per day, 365 days per year, non-stop. Yeah.
Okay.
So here is like a nerve center. We can control and monitor the whole plant equipment.
You did this video about this almost perfect country. Do you still feel the same way now that you've been here for what, one week?
I mean, yeah, why would it change? I mean, I think, here's the thing, like a lot of people think that Nas Daily came and only shared the positive and left.
Yeah. How long were you in Singapore that time, that trip?
I was 2 weeks.
But do you ever feel that by doing it all from a 2-week visit, you may not be accurately portraying what's really happening on the ground in the country?
No, because a lot of people think I just come in here by myself with my girlfriend and leave by myself, which is incorrect. With every video that I make, I run it by 1,000 locals. The first meetup we had was 700 Singaporeans that came that helped me establish the videos that I want to make in Singapore. The ideas for my videos don't come from Google. They come from Singaporeans. They tell me, this is what we do, this is what we like, this is what we don't like, and I make videos, I reflect.
So even though you were here for a short period of time, you're saying it's still accurate because...
I immerse myself from day one like no one else does. Because even if rock stars come here with 50,000 fans, what do? They just play music and say bye-bye and they go to like the Four Seasons.
They're not making videos about the country saying stuff, so...
No, they don't, but they don't get an accurate sense of Singapore. What we do is we hold a meetup in every country we go to, in Peru, in Armenia, and in Singapore.
But one meetup, one afternoon with a bunch of people who, by default, because you call out to them on Facebook, are already your fans and friends in that way.
They're locals. Can you discount them?
No, I'm just saying that it's the ones that didn't show up that you should also be talking to.
I follow every single news organization, the ones that are funded by the government and the ones that are not.
So to the people who say that you shouldn't be here, a bunch of people, about 5,000 of them started a petition, what would you say to them?
It's all about nuance, okay? But if you read the petition, it says Nas Daily is not a Muslim anymore, therefore we should ban him. Now, do you agree with that? Obviously no one should agree with that. Because I'm not religious anymore, therefore we should get. It's not because of the Singaporeans. So this is very different. So we shouldn't lump things together.
Yeah, I want to show you a bit more of what life is here, and maybe you want to have kids later on, so you got to put them to school.
Ask my girlfriend. If she has her way, we're never gonna have kids. Let's hope she doesn't have. Let's hope she doesn't have her way.
Hello. Sorry
Coming
to interrupt.
up, I give Nas a peek into our education system.
They're like, you better study hard for 6 years because your sister never do well. If you don't do well, I'll smack you. They're all very threatening, Singaporean parents.
You said boring parents, you said?
I've been playing host to vlogger Nas Daily, who's recently based his home and business here.
1,000 degrees.
Put some insulation, so this.
Yeah, but ooh, it's still hot.
I want to show him what living in Singapore is really like. So I brought him here.
In order to do that right,
This is a familiar scene. The tuition industry here is estimated to be worth more than $1 billion a year, profiting from anxious parents and students hoping to ace exams. At this center, 500 students have been enrolled for tuition. I've arranged for Nas to join a class of 12-year-olds preparing for their PSLE.
My aunt is a elementary school teacher too, in Israel. And I told her I'm going to Singapore to live. She said, oh, they have the best education system in the world there. They're so smart. What should I tell my aunt?
You tell your aunt that Singapore has a good education system, but many people can beat it because there's always room for improvement.
That's good. Where do you want to go for college?
Haven't thought about it yet, because it's a very early stage of life, and college is when you're like over 16.
But do you all feel like you've been preparing for this PSLE for a few years now?
Yeah.
I mean, when did your parents start talking about it?
They started talking about it when I was P1. They're like, you better study hard for 6 years because your sister never do well. If you don't do well, I'll smack you. They're all very threatening, Singaporean parents.
You said boring parents, you said?
If you want to go to good school, you must get very high marks. And then if you don't get a good school, then everybody was like, "Ayo, why you get so low?" Then they'll start bickering about it.
So with this exam, the PSLE, the kids end up with a score, a number. That number determines whether they get into certain schools.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you guys, what is that number you're aiming for?
300.
Whoa!
Out of what? What's a good number?
A good number would be anything beyond...
260.
That would be a really good number.
You're worth a lot more than a number. Because I had problems with this when I was a kid. I thought I was worthless. If I had 90 or 60 or at an exam, I thought I was not as good as my classmates. In a way, it helped me get into Harvard, but in a way, it hurt my self-worth. So, you know what self-worth is? Self-worth.
Or it makes you feel bad, makes you feel like you're a horrible person, a lousy person. You know?
Yeah. So if you get a lower grade than your friend, you start thinking that you're worse than your friend, that you're not as smart, that you don't deserve success because your friend has a higher grade. And so it's good to compete on grades. I love competition, but don't forget that you're worth a lot more than a number. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What are you worth?
I'm worth more than a number.
Yo, high five, baby!
Based on what you know, what you've heard, if you had kids, would you put them through the system?
Man, I want my kids to go to Harvard. Simple as that. I want my kids to go to the best university, and to get to that, they have to get the best grades. So I think I will be, you know what's funny? I think I would be a Singaporean parent.
You'd be a tiger dad.
I would be a tiger dad. I'm very strict.
I would like to try the questions that have been given to the students as well.
There's nothing I would love more.
After that impromptu motivational talk, teacher Alex Lim sets Nas a challenge. Solve a typical PSLE mathematics problem with the students.
So they had how much time to do it?
Maybe say about 5-10 minutes or so.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay,
go. One,
let's
two,
go.
three, go.
But what is the least amount of money that she will need to buy the candy? Okay, teacher, I finished already. So can you guys show us the right answer? Who wants to go help present the right answer? You? Okay. And of course, Nas.
Let's go.
I'll sit here and watch. Let's want to see your version of the answer.
I told you mine is wrong. Mine was 30, because I just guesstimated. I didn't do the multiples.
Teacher!
Okay, so based on what I see for Maverick, he has done well in both A and B.
So this is the correct answer.
Yes, that's the correct answer.
And Mr. Nas, what did you do?
This is my answer. This is Steve's, and this is mine. Put them together.
Okay, so just to show you that 12-year-old, much older, been to university, gone to Harvard, can't solve it.
Better than both of us.
I know, so let's go. Let's get out of here. Thank you, kids. All the best for your PSLE. Bye.
All that brain work has made us hungry.
I'm taking you to dinner.
So we make our way to a hawker center for another quintessential Singaporean pastime, eating. And I've got a couple of new friends joining us with some tough questions for Nas.
But you don't know why people think that you are hired by the government.
I've spent almost an entire day showing vlogger Nusaya Yassin, who is better known for his 1-minute Nas Daily videos, around Singapore.
Yo, high five, baby!
It's dinner time, and I've brought him to one of our most well-known hawker centers. Nas's girlfriend Aline Tamir has been waiting for us. The American Israeli vlogger is Nas's travel companion and frequently appears in his videos.
So what we're going to do is we're going to hang out here, eat some food, meet some friends.
Amazing.
Yeah?
I've also arranged for 2 Singaporeans who follow Nas Daily videos to join us.
Okay, hi.
Nazaki.
Nazaki, are we standing up?
Come, have a seat. We got you some sugar cane. Oh wow! I'll get the ball rolling because when you first heard the Nas was coming, what was your impression? What did you think?
To be honest, I only started noticing you because of all this online trash talking, right?
Yeah.
And you know, for better or worse, it helped.
It does
helped
help.
get your views.
But that's the problem. I don't want to
That
get
kinda help.
you to know about me because of drama. I don't want to attack the media because I'm media too. But if you look at the media, it's like they take the top comments with like say 1,000 likes, and there's 100,000 likes on the video, 1,000 likes on a negative comment, and they make it sound like this is the most popular opinion of Singaporeans on Nas Daily, and it's very disingenuous. In general.
So
That's why it's so funny that people are so dramatic online, because we're totally normal people living a normal life, just trying to make nice videos to help like explain social issues.
do you feel that Singaporeans are unappreciative of what we have?
Comment said, in my time in Singapore, I've noticed that too many Singaporeans lack perspective. I didn't say all Singaporeans lack perspective.
I think the thing about lacking perspective, it doesn't mean that we have not been to those countries or we have not been through war, that we are not able to be in a position where we can voice our concerns.
Are Singaporeans too tunnel vision?
No, not at all. So I was in Ho Chi Minh City probably 2 weeks of every month. And you know, in Ho Chi Minh City, have you seen the traffic?
Yeah.
And just across the street, you sort of say a prayer before you cross, right? And I've been dragged out on the streets of Ho Chi Minh City from a scooter who was trying to rob me of my belongings, right? And okay, I've had that experience, but I come back to Singapore and I grouse about the traffic. And why is that? Because I hold things in Singapore to a higher standard.
That's great. Actually, someone asked me in my meetup, he was like, what do you think about the complaining nature of Singaporeans? And I said, you know, I went to Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea has very, very few things, but no one complains. Everybody's happy, okay? And they're like, I love Papua New Guinea, yes. And I was like, wait a minute, you should hate Papua New Guinea because it has not much. And then I realized maybe complaining is sort of the reason why Singapore is so good, because you constantly complain, so you constantly improve. And so that was like, huh.
Nas got one-on-one time with some very important people, raising eyebrows among Singaporeans.
I've only had to respond to one thing, which is Nas Daily, are you sponsored?
Okay.
And I thought that was very, very important to come clean and make sure that there's no money involved in these videos.
It's pretty crazy because like every day someone asks you when they stop for selfies, like, oh, you're paid to be here, right? You've said you're not paid so many times, and it's like no one believes you. They just don't believe you.
But you don't know why people think that you are hired by the government to do certain videos.
I know why.
Yeah, you post photos with Dr. Vivian, you know, the PM.
Like
as
you
well.
posted
Prime
photos with the president of Armenia, with the president
not-
of Malta.
Yeah, but you know, when PMD was featured in that video,
And you didn't hear that from me. You heard it from the Prime Minister himself.
Hi, I'm the Prime Minister. This is what we have been building in Singapore for 53 years, and we'll be building it for many more years to come.
He's not the first, he's the fifth president, fifth government official.
Yeah.
The prime minister is the governor.
Yeah, but it's also because your videos of Singapore have been so sugary, sweet, and positive.
So I did talk about the living wages because I think it's ridiculous that there's no minimum wage here. What's even more interesting is that these beautiful, amazing buildings are built by foreign workers here in Singapore who get paid $600 a month on average. There are 1 million people in this country living and working for $600 a month. For $1.90 an hour on average, because here there is no minimum wage.
I can't go to your home and trash talk your living room.
Sure, no one's expecting you to, but I kind of wish there was a more balanced perspective of Singapore in your videos.
What I'm holding right now is a very powerful piece of paper, the world's strongest passport. And it doesn't belong to any of the countries you expect. Not the US, not China, not the UK or Iceland. It belongs to a tiny, tiny country called Singapore. I'm here to suck the good things out of you. Everything that I think is good that you made, I want to share with the rest of my followers. Because my Singaporean followers are 2% of my page. Who cares, 2%? I care about the 98% and what they're gonna see.
Coming to Singapore, setting up your home here, setting up your business here. Why do that?
Very excited. I had 3 options, okay? I had Israel, the US, or Singapore. Okay. And it's about choosing what's the best thing for me. Not in general, for me. In Israel, as you probably know, I'm not Jewish. In the US,
And the employees.
oh, and the employees cannot enter because of restricted visa stuff. And it's also, for us, it was more expensive than Singapore. Think about that. Then the United States. Visas are difficult to get for employees that are not American. The country is too big. And
Everything's spread out.
everything's very, very spread out. Because of the Trump things, I don't feel as welcome as I used to under Obama. So I don't feel equal. And so I wanted to go to a place where I feel like there's real meritocracy, where it feels like I can be equal, I'm free to do business, it's easy, it's streamlined, and it's not too big. Process of elimination, you land in Singapore.
The 3 countries.
Yeah, by default in a way.
I don't want to live anywhere. Yes, if there's
Short answer is by default.
yes, if there's a better country than Singapore, trust me, I would be there too.
We could have this discussion. It could go on all night, but
It's a nice discussion.
we do need to wrap it up. Guys, thanks so much. It's been great hanging out with you.
I spent a lot more than a minute with Nas Daily. It wasn't enough, but it did provide the opportunity for me, my Singaporean friends, and Nas to understand one another better. And now that he's no longer a tourist here, I'll be keeping a close eye on his upcoming videos.